What's up? How's it going, everybody? Sorry about that. I almost completely forgot about my dog. That wouldn't have been too good because she needed to go potty. Whoops, I turned that all the way down, didn't I? Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. Sorry I was a couple minutes behind my plan there, but I wanted to go live as soon as possible because there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about before it was too late. Each time something crazy is happening, I try and go live, I schedule it out, and by the time the live hits, it's just too late. So I was trying not to let that happen today, but I didn't give myself quite enough time. But we're here, we made it. Just make sure work isn't needing me. I left a couple minutes early. All right, we're all right. We're cool. All right, Rick, what's going on? Rick with the first. What's going on, man? Thanks for the support. Hey, Chazmandu. What's up, Josiah? And the green name. So you get the green name if you are part of the channel. So if you have joined, you get the green name. You get a rocket. The longer that you're joined, the cooler the rocket gets, and then eventually, after a couple months, you get like a 2020 channel logo, like the official logo next to your name. And that means that you've been like a supporter for, I can't remember if it's 3 or 6 months, but yeah. So thanks for the support, guys. Appreciate it. If you want to join the Discord, and by the way, guys, the main reason people join the channel and become a super member is so that they can get into the invite-only Discord group. I do have a Twitter. Of course, there is the opportunity to also be part of the live streams, ask questions here, and then even maybe comment on my videos after. But when the stream goes off, I prioritize the Discord group. That's where all the people go that are trying to take trading seriously. And obviously, because they're paying that little monthly fee to support the channel, those are the people I got to prioritize because they're helping support in that way, which I think is great. So if you want in on that, and by the way, these guys have learned, I mean, we've had people come into this Discord group that knew absolutely nothing coming in, asked a lot of questions, started figuring stuff out. And now you'll find a lot of them making call outs and giving good suggestions. And so it's not even you're just joining for me, but even some advice from some of the guys that are in there that have gotten to figuring things out. So it's really a great place to be. And we're getting more and more people in there, which I think is cool. Now, yes, it is $9.99 a month. But if you're taking trading seriously, you understand that you can do one scalp and lose like $20. So cutting that out in itself without even making money, I mean, you've already paid for the membership. So it's just up to you. I never push it, but I let people know it's there if they ask. Where's the button to join? Let me get you a link. So, like, if anybody is trying to take trading seriously and wants to take their trading to the next level, that's what the Discord group is for. If you're here just to kind of casually trade Dogecoin only and want to hang out or just support the streams, that's fine. But the Discord group's where I'm at talking trading stuff. Let's see. Where's the link? And of course, you're in the Discord group as long as you're a member. So if you decide to bail the membership, then when it expires, you're asking to be out of the group as well. So. All right, so there's a link I'm just gonna pin it in the chat, and if you click that link, Raza, that should get you. That's gonna take you to the right place. Let's see. Ready for round 7865. Exactly, that's basically what this is, right? Just another round. It is Thursday. What's going on, Jehoiakim? And will we be pumping? We will be pumping this weekend, 51k plus. All right, with the confidence to do. I like that. And what's going on, man? Yes, hit that like button. I appreciate it. Is this the dip? Is anyone getting into Doge? There's a good question we'll answer. What's going on, Bob? Josh, what's up? Jared, yes, I love that enthusiasm. Yes, yes, yes. Where'd your spaceship go, man? Oh, your channel, your membership might have expired. You might not have renewed it. So if your plan was to stay in the group as well, you'll probably want to check that out, because it looks like it it looks like the membership, it didn't auto renew. That's unlucky. That's funny, Josh. Just a normal Thursday, man. Some folks are getting wrecked. They sure are, man. This is the sell-off. But we knew that the 47k level was really probable. I mean, that's not even far down. We knew that 50,000 was really high, and the next key levels of support was 48, but really like 47 seemed to be like a decent low. And there were a couple other things that made that 47 level look so appealing. And we'll talk about it when we do the TA here, kind of what went down. Roar Nation, what's going on? Made it on time. Much respect, 2020. What's up, everybody? Hey, what's going on, man? Glad you made it. The spaceship booster seals are leaking. Yes. Chosen One, what's up? Mr. Helm, what's up, man? What up, my t-shirt making king? Love them. Thank you again. I'm glad you like them. I'm gonna restart venturing into some of them. Obviously, it's been very busy in the crypto market these last couple weeks, so I've locked my focus in more on the trading activity, because there were trades to be made. But I assume between maybe now and the end of September, I might have a little more time to work on the shirts a little more. So I'll try and get some more up. I want to get some more polos for y'all. The polos are really cool, and that kind of thing. Maybe some new designs. The Discord really is a great group. 24/7 input on the charts, highly educational, worth every penny. Thank you, Art With Me. I really try my best, because guys, until this channel actually blows up or takes off one day and can financially support my bills, instead of it just being a nice little bonus here and there. I do work 9 to 5. Well, I'm salaried, so technically I work 24/7, especially since it's a 24/7 department. But then I have other kind of jobs too, so I'm usually very busy. But like I said, I prioritize. I've decided to, the people that are clearly wanting support, I am in the Discord group talking there more than anywhere else. So Twitter, you might not get a response from me, or at least not in time. On the YouTube comments, probably the same thing. Discord group, that's my priority. It comes right to my phone, just like a text message would. And what's up, Rick? Artful Dodger, what's going on, man? Thanks for all the Artful Dozier, rather. Thanks for all the support on Twitter, man. I see you retweeting and all that stuff, so I do appreciate it. Just wanted to let you know. Sounds good, Reza. We'll be looking forward to having you. I got that link up there for you yesterday, so it's still there when you go. You didn't want it to expire? That sucks, man. That sucks. I wish I could do something about it, but YouTube handles the all that. Do I think Bitcoin will go under 46? Great question as well. Diamond hands, I like that. What's up, G? How about Shiba Inu? I'm not a big fan of SHIB. SHIB's doing all right. I thought it'd be pretty good as an investment, and for some reason the price isn't really moving that much, even though it got listed on Webull. I'm just very disappointed in SHIB right now. I don't know. I just keep getting let down. What's going on, Alan? Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for coming from Matt's stream. I remember you from in that chat, so appreciate you hanging out and supporting this channel as well. Thank you. Good evening. All right, guys. So let's roll into some stuff here. Quick little statement. I think this is a buy zone. All right. So I'm just going to say that first and foremost before it gets too late or anything like that. I think this is a potentially great buy zone where we literally are at this very moment in time. Now, it's still a bit of a risk, just like anything, because we are treading this line and we keep crossing over and under the line that I don't want to go under. But when you look at what's been happening here, we've established extremely strong support of this level. As you can see, all the rejections here, as we kept trying to go under, we have not. Aylin. Okay, I'm sorry. I should have assumed that was not the correct pronunciation. Jin. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Jin. Yeah, but the way that we're trading here, it really looks like Bitcoin is wanting to establish this price area as the bottom. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about when I say price area, I will draw out a rectangle here so it's color shaded in to make it a little more apparent. So in between these two white lines that I have drawn, this purple zone, this is what... All right, I can't listen to that song again. That's the intro song. I hear it too much. Sorry. Let's just go to the next song. Okay. So this zone right here has been trying to establish itself as the bottom. Because if you look here, we're on the 1 minute chart. So obviously it's a lot of trading activity, right? But look at how many times this line right here is the 47,000 line. So this level is very important. And this line right here is the 46,750 level of support. So 47,000 is a strong mental level, but 46,750 is the actual strong technical level. And why do I say that? Well, if you zoom out, you can see in the past that there was a lot of activity at 46,750. You can see here it was as resistance, close to here was as support, consolidation here, a lot of activity here. But then here, this is also where the rejection wicks topped out, right at around that 46,750-ish area. So anywhere from like 46.5 to 47, that $500 range is the zone, kind of the strong support zone. And you can see, if you look at it from this perspective, how hard, I mean, look at how long we've been trading here, a long time. Look at how many times we made new lows and tried to crash. And look at all these wicks on the bottom of these candles showing like we wanted to go up, but we just were not, right? And we just didn't make it. Then we crashed pretty hard to like 46.5, a little under, rejected all the way back out to 47.5, and then started consolidating here again. The overall motion that we have going on here, there's two motions, is that we're getting that typical reversal pattern, in my opinion, where you do the two-step drop off, and then the overall bowl shape. And then once you break and start making new highs, so about once you hit like this territory for sure, you start to see more momentum to the upside. And then especially once you clear this resistance right there from those wicks is when you start to get, you make it up here, you kind of do that pullback right back on the upward trend line as well. That would be perfect. And then a further continuation up. And so this is what I'm expecting to happen. Now, the other concern is we have been down here for so long that maybe people start to get bearish and you see this start to continue to trade sideways and then fizzle out and then kind of dump down probably to like 46 or 45, probably not much lower. But it is much more probable that this, in my opinion, turns out to be a bullish run. There's multiple reasons for that. And we're about to get into some of those additional reasons as well. But that's, in my opinion, what's going to happen. If I were to take a guess, it would be that. And you can see here at this point in time, we're actually gaining a little bit of upward traction here. We're coming towards that 100 EM or 50 EMA it finished its downtrend, started smooth. It's starting to trade more horizontal. It's meeting our price action here. And for the first time in a long time, we could be about to see some of our green candles start closing above the 50 EMA and holding above it. And that will give people some more bullish hope. And then they're going to want to see the 50 cross the 100 and the 50 and 100 cross the 200. And that would be somewhere about 48. But you can see this bullish candle here. Like we're gaining a little bit of traction as we speak. So that's good. And especially on the 1 minute, you can see how we're starting to consider curling out a 47. All right, a couple more comments. I'm not done yet, but a couple more comments. Oh, sorry. I hate that call tag so much. It just brings work rage out. Which call tag? Oh, like when people call you the name improperly. Houston says we're ready. Oh, Houston, we're ready for takeoff. Nice. Am I still holding ACH? No, I did take my funds and move them elsewhere. ACH at the time just wasn't moving enough for me, and I wanted to experiment with some other things. So I'm actually in ACH right now. I'm sorry. I'm actually in. That didn't make sense, did it? I'm actually in ADA right now. Cardano. I'm in Cardano. Yeah, ACH is a banking term. Yeah, I work, in corporate. ACH is also usually relating to payroll with ADP. C98. I don't know what that is, man. I actually don't know what C98 is. In terms of swing trading in the last 48 hours, how do you know when to pull out of Cardano and move to a stable point? Vice versa. Screwed my timing. Bye $50. Ah, okay. So it starts with doing the technical analysis and realizing where the potential stopping point should be and observing the behavior once it hits those points. If things start to look really, really weak near support, you're not getting good bounces and things look bad, usually I will just go ahead and exit a trade and say, all right, well, when things start to look good again, before it gets too far away, I'll consider a re-entry. So it's really about knowing when you should cut your trade, I think. The last 48 hours. So let's take a look at exactly what happened in the last 48 hours. Let me pause the music for a moment. I don't have my earbuds, and that means I can't actually hear myself very well. So hang on just a moment. We'll get the music back on. And here we go. This is the potential that I was just wanting to go live for here, the reversal. And it looks like we're starting to potentially get the reversal, finally taking off, finally getting into some new high territory. Hopefully you guys placed your buys if you were feeling what I was feeling there. Now, like I said, it could still go down, but we are at a point that this should be the bottom. And so this is kind of the dip zone. And so I am in as I'm going to be. All right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's what ACH is. It does throw me off. When I first heard of ACH, the crypto as well, I was like, you mean the bank transfer? The old school one that takes forever? So let's take a look at the last 48 hours. So maybe I'll try and make this a little bit simpler, Josh. So when it comes to swing trading, typically what you want to do, and let me get rid of this because this might be distracting. Typically what you want to do is look at higher time frames and try to identify patterns. That will tell you where you should be expecting bottoms to be and where you should be expecting, how you should expect bounces to play out potentially. Because the better the level, the stronger the bounce should be, because that means more people are going to buy at a better level, at a better price. That's where most of the people are going to try and get in. So typically, off a more key level or low level, strong level of support, you'll get more of a bounce off that level as long as people aren't so bearish that it's really not going to hold. And so that's what you look at. You look for what kind of strength bounce am I expecting based off what kind of level it is, and then how do we react once we actually get there. If we get to a strong key level of support and we're looking really, really weak, like no one wants to buy that dip, that's probably concerning. If we get to a strong level of support or a weak level of support and it starts taking off like a rocket, there's probably a lot of bullish momentum. So anyway, just looking here, and I'll hide the EMAs for now. Looking here, this line was really crucial to me. So if you're looking at this uptrend, and I'm going to delete some of these too. All right, so if you're just looking at this uptrend for what it is, you can see we started from here, and we had a more significant bounce here, and then a significant bounce here. So basically, what I do at that point is you can get a ray indicator, go from the bottom to the next point, and then you can map out what's most likely going to happen next. So what ended up happening next was then we got a bounce right back at that next level. Perfect textbook bounce. And everyone was seeing this as a potential dip buy because that's right at support. As long as this level holds, and you could see that this was also the same level as this. So it provided not just a diagonal support, but also a horizontal support. 2 reasons to buy in at this price, which means it's most likely going to hold because you've got 2 levels of support at the same area. So now what you've got is 3 touches on this upward trend support. That tells you, it's a strong trend. What you would hope is to see another bounce and then another pullback to support and it stop and do the exact same thing. So then this becomes the expected buy zone, which would have been right here at 47.3. Now what ended up happening was we had an almost touch of the line, which I never like when we don't get a clean touch. I generally don't like it. And even though we got an almost touch, we still took off like a rocket all the way up to 49. Now, considering that we didn't quite touch it and that we were kind of coming off bearish news, I figured we'd stall out somewhere around 49. But that part didn't matter. It was like, okay, well, how do we react on the pullback from 49? Because what I would have been fine with was seeing something like, we have the big bounce overall, we come back 49 or 47, we do whatever this weird thing was here, have another touch, but then kind of double bottom it and take off. That would have been bullish. Instead, what we did was we went up, got a confusion doji candle, then a rejection candle, which showed we were about to tank, and then this massive, massive candle that not only went further down than the green uptrend in one candle, it closed under the important line of support. So when it closed under the line of support, to a lot of people, they took that as a break of the uptrend, of the bullish uptrend, because that's the first time we've now disrespected the level. So it's possible now that instead of continuing up, we could trade sideways or trade down. And so that's usually a really bad sign. All right. Now, if it's a really bad sign, why am I even considering a buy here? Because then you have to say, okay, trend is broken. We are potentially on a downtrend. If we are in a downtrend, we should expect to see a lot of people be in agreement and the price dump. But what ended up happening? Yes, the price sold off like another $500 to $1,000, but the price did not dump. People did not absolutely panic, and they did not sell off to the point where we're going down to the next key levels of support. Usually on a higher time frame, you can find key levels of support by using the 200 EMA. That is usually going to be the most important key level. That key level was going to be by the time we fell down in the 200 EMA, just playing out time here as it continues to trend up, probably would have been anywhere from between $44,000 and $45,000, which is what we talked about yesterday. So that's probably around where the bottom would have been if people panicked from breaking this line. Instead, you can see people did not panic very hard, and we only hit the 100 EMA. All right. Let's see. It's because that's somewhat inappropriate, bro. So, yeah, none of that. Boom. All right. So, anyway. And so... So we bounced off the 100 EMA here, right? And then we held at the 100 EMA. We did not continue to crash down into further territory. This showed that maybe this break under was an overreaction and potentially could be a fake out to where, and this happens very often, where you break to the bottom side of a pattern, it doesn't dump like a lot of people would think. It fakes people out. They stop loss trade. All right. So let's do this. Where's Skydive when I need her? Okay. All right, there we go. I don't get why people troll. Anyway, glad I don't get offended easily or at all. So basically what we did was we broke the trend line. Usually people here would panic, right? And they would think that we're gonna just crash into oblivion because we just broke the major uptrend. We just broke it. Yeah, I think he should be permabanned. I think I clicked the right button. If not, I'll make sure he is after. Yesterday, I think Skydive put him in timeout for the rest of the stream. But yeah, he should be permanent. So, so it fell below the trend line, and then it bounced off the 100 EMA, which is a better, higher level of support, and then we bounced off and went to the underside of the upward trend line. Now, at this point, this was a great short position time because that is exactly what you want to happen. You want to see it crash below a level. You want to see the first bounce still respect the support as now resistance, which means that after this, you're probably going down. So if you're a short seller, this would be a perfect entry point on this candle here as it starts to go down. So a lot of people probably shorted here and just said, oh, we're bearish, we're going down to 44. All right, but then the good news here is that despite getting confirmation that this was resistance, we did not sell off into oblivion. We still held at the 100 EMA bullishly, and now we are bouncing back up still. So in my opinion, if we were going to crash here, we would have done it, if not here, because this is a sell signal here. But the sell signal did not make people sell. People are still holding and still buying. And we're still getting support at this 200 EMA. So what looks like it's going to happen now is we get this, and we had this, what should have been the dump, didn't dump, and now and just, whatever happens here happens. But eventually we could break back up into here, retest it as support, and then continue up. That's the way it looks now. That's most probable now. And either way, what that tells you is that we are really holding strong, not only at the 100 EMA, but we're really trying to hold above the 47,000 mental level. So that's really important, and we're doing a good job at it so far. And you can see here, there were some rejection wicks here, and like here. So this level right here, right at about 46.8 is like a inter level of support right there. So you've got the 100 EMA, a little bit of support right around here, and then the mental level, which is 47,000, the whole number right there. So we've got a strong support area that we are respecting. Despite all the odds being against us right now, we are holding in this area and looking like we still want to reject out. So now our next hurdle will be to cross above, break above about 47, I'll just say 9. If we can break first above 47.8, but then go above 47.9 and hold here on a pullback, and that's at the same level here. So that's going to be 3 levels of support that we'd have at that point if we can break above it. Because then we'll have this trend line this support line as support. We'll have the 50 EMA as support. And then we'll also be coming right up onto this territory right here to have the diagonal uptrend line as support. And so then we'll have 3 levels of support. Everyone will feel comfortable buying the pullback here, which will give us a lot of upward momentum to take off like a rocket. So that's the idea. Now, that was all based off of, it doesn't bother me. Like, people are just crazy, so I don't get offended very easy. That was to Josh's, original question. And I know that I kind of went off on a tangent there, and it kind of went off topic a bit as well. But to answer your question, Josh, about like how do you identify moments where you should like cut a trade? Really, no matter what altcoin I'm trading, usually I'm trading ones that are relatively decent market cap. So they all tend to follow Bitcoin for the most part and aren't doing a whole lot of volatility moves on their own. So unless we're talking like ACH or something like that, or like a baby Doge or like a SHIB, even SHIB follows Bitcoin a lot these days. But unless we're talking a small market cap coin, if we're talking Doge, Cardano, and all these other guys, I'm looking at Bitcoin because they go up and down when Bitcoin does. And so I just try and figure out like what is Bitcoin going to do next. And I don't even trade looking at ADA's charts. They don't matter to me because ADA's only going to do what Bitcoin does unless ADA has a reason to do something different based off news, which is rare. So I do my TA here, and then I click buy or sell on the altcoin that I'm trading, whether that's Dogecoin or ADA or ETH. And once I saw Bitcoin hit 47 here, to me this was a potential ADA buy. When I was thinking 49 would be the top, this was a potential ADA sell. And then I figured if we do a pullback here, I'm going to need to wait and see how we do on this pullback, because this little pattern, right, the fact that we started selling off so hard right after this small bounce and didn't get a full another move like these made me think this could be bearish. And so I wanted to see, and this is what I talked about in chat a couple days ago, I wanted to see how it reacted to the 47,000 level. So I kind of waited it out. It hit 47, looked like it wanted to come back up, but then it didn't, sold under. So now I'm thinking, all right, maybe it's time to short ADA. So best case scenario, I'm just not going to be in. But then as I'm starting to see it holding this level and starting to come back up, this is getting back into potential buy territory. And here's the great thing about it. If you can just identify that we're at a strong, what should be a strong support level, and we're not crashing, because that's the two things you want to see. Are we at or near a key level, and how are we doing there? If we are, yes, at a key level, and we are doing decent at a key level, then that is a potentially good place to buy, because not only are the odds in your favor because you're buying the bottom at the time, so if anything, you should have a lot of room up. Not only are those odds in your favor, but if you realize you're wrong, you can cut and identify you're wrong without the price going very far down, so you don't lose very much. And when you realize that you were wrong, you're barely cutting at much of a loss because you bought near the bottom already. So all of those things are in your favor. So buying, orange line here, or even at this 47,000-ish level, buying here, the longest you really need to hold this before you'd realize you were wrong is really, I'd say, this more conservative, well, here more conservatively under these main wicks, or just here, like 46.5, if it made a new low below this wick, or even definitely under 46.3. And that's only $700 down, but you've got like $4,000 of upside here. So the risk to reward is way in your favor because you bought near the bottom. And that changes when you buy further up, even if it's at a pullback. So let's say that this plays out and you get this move up and it comes up here and it does, the pullback to like the 40, whatever it did here, the little pullback. At some point here, you're not going to feel too sure about like, when is this going to stop? Because this trend line, this rejection wick here stopped at 47.6. So until this goes under 47.6, you don't have confirmation that you may have broken the uptrend. And really, you don't have confirmation that you've broken the uptrend until it goes under here. Because what could end up happening is you get this. Just these big moves over time. And then you're just getting faked out left and right. Because what would confirm that we're going to continue a downtrend is a break below the low, the major swing low here. And that's why, even though buying at pullbacks up here is safe if you're doing it at what should be support high, you're still not buying it near the main support low. So these are like, I'm missing out and I want to get in later at a technically correct spot. But the best spot you can get in is at the bottom of everything. And so that's why I just went ahead and took a chance here. Not about it going in your favor, but like I said, it's about trading the right way and trying and making sure that it's really simple. Like you don't have to think about, well, how can I outsmart this? How can I do all these fancy things? It's identify where the bottom is and figure out, and when that time comes, place a trade. If you're wrong, accept the loss and just say, wow, That's unfortunate. I bought at the perfect spot, and things ended up going against me. But that was a trade that should have been 80% chance in my favor, and that 20% happened that time. Well, next time it comes around, I'm going to do the same thing. If it hits that key level that is obviously the bottom, and it looks like it's not dumping when it hits that, and it's holding and maybe shows a sign it's going to reverse, I'm going to place an entry. And vice versa. If you're a short trader, it's 50,000 is the 50,500 is the previous high. So if we over time get back up to 50,500, and obviously let's just maybe not say Bitcoin or something that we know is going to go to like 100K, but if long term you were kind of neutral and you're just trading the price action, when it hits 50,500, consider taking your profit or even going short, because now you're at resistance. It's highest probability that there's going to be some sort of pullback. And if you're wrong, but you sold at the top. So you technically traded correct. And it's not your fault that you were wrong. So that's how it goes. And thank you. I just heard a noise. What was that? Hey, Rick. It's showing that he has been a member now for 3 months. Thank you for the third month, man. Thanks for the support. It's awesome. So I believe in Doge, Reza says, but what if I go into Bitcoin till we get to 50-ish and then switch up to Doge, because I think Doge won't pump till 50-ish? That's pretty smart. Doge probably is not going to move very much until over 50,000. So the thing is, though, you have to consider percentage gains versus what the price difference actually shows. So Bitcoin from 47,000 to 50,000 is going to be less than a 10% gain from current price, because 10% would be 4,400, and we're about $3,000 away. So you're probably looking at like an 8% profit if you bought now and we went to 50,000. Whereas what will Doge have done by the time Bitcoin's at 50,000? So if we look at Dogecoin's current price, Dogecoin's at 27. A 10% gain on Dogecoin is $2 is 2 cents. 2 cents, almost 3 cents, but not quite. You know what I mean? 2 cents and 7/10 of a cent. So from here to about here, actually right at 30 cents, literally right at 30 cents. So as soon as we hit 30 cents flat on Doge, that is exactly when you make 10%, which means that by the time it's hit about 29.50-ish is probably when you'd make the same amount that you'd make on Bitcoin buying now and selling at 50,000 with the same investment size. That's the percentage gain factor. So what do you think Dogecoin will be at? Here's the question. What do you think Dogecoin will be at when Bitcoin hits 50K again? And if your answer to that question is that that Dogecoin will be under around 30 cents, then Bitcoin is probably the better investment. If you think that Dogecoin will be at 30 cents or higher when Bitcoin hits 50, then Dogecoin would be the more profitable investment, regardless of how it continues afterward. Let's see. I read those. Let's see. Thoughts on Cardano? Cardano's my main play right now. I'm not going to lie, guys. Cardano has the most potential. Cardano, in my opinion. Here's the thing. I like to trade, if I can, stocks or cryptocurrencies that have a lot of volatility, but that are trending up. The reason why is that it makes it so much harder to fail and to get faked out. If you're trading a stock in the stock market that doesn't have much going for it, but it just flies all over the place in random directions at random times, you're trading 100% off of technicals and hoping that manipulation doesn't kick in and throw you off. Because you'll have hedge funds, market makers, all these people, big money, manipulating things at random times to mess up retail traders, because retail traders tend to trade off emotion, and they see something, big red candle, yikes. They really trade off of emotions over technicals. And no matter how long you've been trading, FOMO and these other things still affect you. You just get better at figuring out how to deal with them, and you learn how to suppress them and ignore them. And you trade less emotionally. You learn how to suppress your feelings in trading. and that's what makes you get better. That's part of it. So, but if you can go into a cryptocurrency where it has great news and high price targets by, for example, by the end of the year, where people are even talking about $30 Cardano by the end of the year, whether or not I think that'll happen or not. What if we see a $5 or $10 or $15 Cardano by the end of the year? That means I could be wrong here or there. Overall, this cryptocurrency is going to be carrying the price up. That's going to be the general trend as long as there's not super bad news, which means it's going to be so much easier to be right and buy and be profitable because the thing's kind of going up anyway. Me buying in at the right time is kind of an extra bonus, and I might get a couple extra bucks from doing it that way. But it's much more forgiving because the trajectory is going to be up. And so if there's ever possibilities to day trade or scalp those kind of assets, ride the big waves up, cut on the pullbacks, and then ride the big wave up, and then cut at the top, and avoid the pullback, then I'm just stacking profit, then it goes back down. Profit the same amount, goes back down. Profit goes back down. Profit goes back down. You know what I mean? And it's just free money. So whenever those situations present themselves, that's where I like to gravitate. Dogecoin was the one, but Dogecoin is a little stale right now since there's not a whole lot of talk going on about the catalysts. And I think even though 1.14, the introduction of transaction fee reduction was good, a lot of people are wanting it to be, they want to hear 100% rollout and some more big catalysts of major adoption. So Dogecoin's doing fine in my opinion, but it is the hype train is at one of the stops needing to take back off again. And so I think Cardano's where that hype train is currently going to be. And that's why I'm just trading Cardano instead of Dogecoin for the time being. But keep in mind, I bounce around all the time between Ethereum, Cardano, and Dogecoin. At any given moment, I'm just trading a different one. Ethereum's good because you can do options on Ethereum pretty easy in a decentralized manner. Dogecoin's good because its price action, in my opinion, is relatively predictable. And it's nice and cheap, so you can buy a lot of shares and feel good about yourself, even if you're broke. And then, like me, and then ADA's good because it has major catalysts and is probably going to skyrocket and just be very easy to profit off of. I understand that bear, but Alchemy Pay Simple is ACH, yep. Oh, yeah. Looks like it reaches around 47.5 and then dips, yep, because that's where that trend line was that I deleted, I think. Oh, this is Dogecoin. That's where that trend line sits, right there around 47.5, and it's just hitting that as resistance. If we can break above to the top side of that here, we'll be good. There is still the scenario that this breaks out the bottom. If it does, that's not going to be good. But like I said, I bought in towards the bottom. I feel comfortable cutting kind of in this general area, and so that is what it is. Mr. Pablo, thank you for subscribing, man. Welcome to the channel. Let's go hashtag Doge. Yes, let's go. By the way, guys, if you're new to the channel, you like what you're hearing so far and want to catch the next streams, click subscribe as well. We'd love to see you in the next one. Marcelo says, I'm targeting to buy Doge at 26 to 25,700, where we have the 0.5 or the 50% fib retracement plus 200 support. Do I agree? Doge 26. Yeah, we actually hit Doge 26 though earlier. So that's my only concern is that if you were looking for that retracement and if you were looking for that retracement, we already did hit it here earlier. So if we hit it again, that could be a bad sign because we would have hit it the first time. People are thinking, all right, this is the bottom. I'm going to buy it up. But then if we only make it up a little and we hit it again on that second hit, there's a chance that it's for a bad reason. And that's because we failed to break into new territory and people are like giving up and selling off and then we break below it. So that would be the only concern if we make it back. I think at this point, it's probably going to be 27 cents is the best you can get. Maybe 26 if we just do a small pullback and don't do anything crazy. High 26 cents, and that probably be it. Now, if we're going to do a pullback and sell off, then yeah, you'll probably get 26 or even 25 later. But if you're looking for a longer term hold, I wouldn't worry too much about the 1 cent versus kind of getting in at a point where it's not going to dump. Do I offer one-on-one consultations? I don't yet, but that could be a good idea. Can you send me another link to join? Hopefully you can make my spaceship bigger. I'll try and figure out how I can modify your spaceship, man. The link to join the group is going to be pinned at the top of the comments for anybody that wants to join. So Josh, if you re-click there, that should bring you back in. That's a really good way to read this, and the arches look almost the same. Yeah, it's really just about figuring things out and trying to identify patterns in like the easiest way possible. And once you understand the concept of like where to draw support and resistance lines and where to map the bottoms and the tops, then you start to see like, you know, these kind of things right here. And then I'm noticing the difference here to here. This one was a little more volatile, but then this one right here was way more spread out and comfortable. But then this one right here was a steep move up, and then it stalled out really hard and pulled back. But now, you know, it pulled back under and it's looking like it wants to shoot back up and continue. So that's just like the very quick and easy way to glance at it. Once you've got lines drawn out and things mapped out in your head. Michael Saylor is betting on Bitcoin big. He always is. I don't know a time when Michael Saylor hasn't been betting on Bitcoin. Do you expect this recent bottom to be the lowest we'll see for the foreseeable future, including before the next hearing? No, I don't. I think Bitcoin can still go down to like 45, 44 even. I think if anything, if Bitcoin's going to drop significantly at any point in time, I would expect it to be when the vote does get passed. I think the reason that we didn't see a massive sell-off, we saw a nice pullback of like a large percentage, like a 10% pullback. We saw that very quickly. I think the reason we didn't sell off was because, one, the vote to actually pass the bill wasn't going to be that day, and two, because people know that there's supposed to be either an amendment in the future afterward, and then at the same time, there's also rumor that the government's not going to enforce it if it passes as is without an amendment. It was just to start getting the tax thing going, but not to regulate the wrong people. So it looks like the goal is to do the right thing, and so I think a lot of people just were not panicked right now that much, even though we did see a sell-off. Now, when it actually comes time to pass the bill, that could be the bearish day. And at that time, you know, getting close to that, the closer we get to October 1st, even if there's an actual hearing date out there, I think as we get to that, that's when we start to see a pullback. Now, I don't know if people are going to absolutely overreact and freak out that day and we see like a 43 or something, or if we even have any new news regarding this regulation and how they plan to enforce it by then, or if people do the same thing and we just see like a small 5 to 10% pullback and then people go about their business because they're not worried about it. But there is potential. 47,000 Bitcoin is not low. We had a reasonable pullback zone would be to the 200 EMA, which is right now at 44,000. And it could still happen. So no, I don't think this is the lowest we go, but I am taking a chance at a good level of support. So, and then if I realize that it's wrong, I'll sell it before I lose very much, and I'll wait till it finishes falling to the next zone. And then if it holds here, I'll try again here. And then if it looks good and then it doesn't and it goes below and it starts looking bad, then I sell and wait till it falls here. I'm barely losing any money trying at main levels that should hold, but when you catch the right one, you're in right at the bottom and you got all this room back up. So, and you don't have to buy at every one. It's only the ones you feel like confident in. The chart looks so good when you zoom out. Super bullish. Yeah, it does. It does look good. Sorry, I missed a lot of comments. Yep, he's reported. He's out of here. Yes, IQ below a nat. Should go up to 54. Yeah, we've got room for that. Mariano, you have ads now. Hope you're getting your cut. I've had ads for a couple years, even when before I was publicly doing trading and talking to people about it on my technology videos. I had ads, but during the live streams, I usually don't run the like ones that are like they show for like 5 seconds or whatever. I just have the little banners that pop up at the bottom that you can X out. But I'm going to hopefully get a couple dollars if I keep doing these very consistently. So we'll see. It's not very much, but one day maybe it will be. But thanks, man. Appreciate that, Dougie. 10K in Doge right now. Let's go. Awesome. What's my price prediction? let's see, for Doge by the end of the year. Um, it strongly varies on what happens, and I would say anywhere between 50 cents to $1. And I know that's extremely vast. The nice thing now is we are not even close to 50 cents. So if you were to buy in even at 27 right now, by the time we hit 50, you've about doubled your money. So that's good enough, right? For a 4 month or a 3 month investment to have 100% gains. But my concern is we're getting close to the end of the year yet. We're not done with the transaction speed update or transaction fee update. We're getting close to a point, and Bitcoin the suspension hasn't been reverted yet for Tesla, which is also a big deal. That is going to drastically impact the price. And if Bitcoin goes up to 55, 60,000, Dogecoin gets pulled up like another 10 cents and gets it way higher up, 10 to 15 cents. And then Bitcoin continues its bull run, goes even higher. Bitcoin 65, Bitcoin 70, starts making its new highs, and Dogecoin 45, Dogecoin 50, as it follows the market, just like everything else does. So Bitcoin is very key in all of this. Now we've got the regulation FUD going around to where people are kind of freaking out a little bit. Now we've got just some other things going on. Like I said, Bitcoin not for Tesla yet. Dogecoin still hasn't gotten the update yet. No Dogecoin for Tesla yet. Like, those are a lot of catalysts that we have to rely on to get us to move. And will those happen within the next 3 months that we have now is the question. So by the end of the year now is a really narrow time frame since there's only 3 months left. And that's why I say the range is now a little vast. I mean, it could be anywhere from a recovery back to Bitcoin going back to normal, which is going to be like a Dogecoin 50-ish, to a Dogecoin gets its catalyst that it needs and it checks all its boxes and can start to max out. So Dogecoin closer to $1. Another thing too, the Doge Ethereum bridge, that's going to be a big deal, but that's also waiting on Ethereum for Ethereum 2.0. There's so many things we're waiting on. But either way, price target's significantly up, but we're running out of time for the end of the year target. Doge Noodle says, why do I choose the 4-hour interval to assess trend rather than another interval? So I actually use a lot of intervals. I use most commonly the 1, the 3, the 30, and the 4. Each set of time frames, in my opinion, gives you a perspective difference and lets you see things a different way. So if you're looking at like from 4 hours, let me just say from 2 hours up to a year, you're looking at things way zoomed out, big picture. If you're looking at things from like the 15 minute up to the 1 hour, you're looking at things a little bit shorter term, but still long term. Or from the 1 minute to the 10 minute time frame, you're probably doing some like closer trading, especially like the 1 minute to the 5. So maybe I should say 1 to 5, 10 to 30, 1 to 4, and then day to year, or 1 to day and then week to year, something like that. Those are like the categories. Now for me, I don't really care about the yearly, and I'll just explain each time frame and why I use it or don't. The yearly doesn't really tell me anything I care about. All right. Obviously, Bitcoin is up significantly from where it started from. I don't need that information, so I'm never going to use the yearly. The quarterly also doesn't matter to me because if I wanted quarterly, this doesn't tell me that much either, and no one trades off the quarterly time frame, so people aren't doing technical analysis off the quarterly or the yearly on Bitcoin. So not only do they not give me a lot of info, but since people aren't trading off of them, they're not going to signify any moves because people aren't going to place a buy off the quarterly chart or a sell off the quarterly chart. The monthly gets a little more interesting because it really summarizes with still giving you some nice size candles, the overall trend that we've done kind of since the start. You see this wave, and this is what people were talking about, like the Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, and this move up, So this is this isn't a bad view, but again, I'm never really going to sit here for anything because, yeah, I know we went up, and I know we crashed, and I know we're going back up. Like, this also doesn't tell me anything new. The weekly time frame, things start to get a little bit better, but it's still the same concept. It's a little over summarized, but you can see the big move up, the big pullback, big move up, pullback, pullback, the dump, rejected here, rejected the bottoms, took off, broke the uptrend right here, and now what's going to happen next? That's cool and all, but for every day, like I'm never going to need to look at this every day. The daily chart, things get much, much better. You can see way more action. And some might prefer to use this over the 4-hour chart. I don't though, because I like to see what's going on just a little more actively since I'm more of a shorter term trader. So that's why I prefer the 4-hour. Now, if you go down to the 2-hour, it starts giving you like a lot of info, and the 1-hour starts giving you a lot of info. And I don't know. I mean, you can use the 1 or the 2. I've just decided I like the way that the 4-hour summarizes the information. I've liked the way that it's given me a lot of info while still summarizing it and helping me clearly see the patterns the best and where it's been hitting the support lines and resistance lines. The 2 hours fine, but I don't feel like I need that much information if I'm trying to take a glance out, or even the 1 hour. The 30 minutes pretty good for shorter term. You can see a lot more of the candles become apparent, and like some of the smaller trends, like this move up, the breakout, the move up, the breakdown, the move up, the breakdown. You can start to see those things happening. 15, same thing, just more candles, more candles, more candles. And then, so I just skipped those. And then the 1 and the 3 are good for really, really short-term trading where you're trying to see what's going on like right now. The 1 minute, I think, is really bad for crypto because it's too volatile. You don't need that many candles to see the patterns. Unless you're going to place an entry right now and you want to see exactly what candle to do it on, the 3 minutes better for just general observing, in my opinion. So that's my opinion. There's other people that swear by the 2 minute. And also, I like the EMAs on there too. It looks like the 200 EMA on those time frames tends to be the most accurate with how the price trends and follows. So there's other people that use the 2, the 5, the 15, the 10, the daily all the time. Just not my style. 1 or 5 is more for day trading. If you want to see the bigger picture, what the trend is, look at the 4. Yep. Yeah. You sold at 294, bought back at 256. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. It's a great dip. You sold right at the top. That's perfect. ADA is basically Ethereum's main competitor, and as of now, some could argue that it's better. And the main thing is now all of a sudden people are talking about ADA because it's getting smart contract support in a couple weeks, which is going to let people develop apps on top of the network, which has not been a thing previously. So now ADA is really going to have a chance to be better than Ethereum. And Ethereum's the second biggest crypto out there, so that means ADA has a lot of room to run. Will Doge hit 25 or lower? Probably not today. Unless Bitcoin goes under 46, under 46.3, then probably not today. I'm only half Vulcan. Thank you, Mr. Helm. Man, notifications on my channel really suck. I don't know what's going on. Is Webull frozen? Yeah, it is. We're at 47.1 though. The price isn't frozen, but the chart is. Webull looks like it's down. I guess we'll have to go to TradingView for the moment. Oh. You can see a nice potential double bottom situation going on. You had the 1, the 2, and we could come back up. So we'll see. Other scenario, this stalls out and dies. We'll just have to watch. Looks better than before? Yes. Weekly's very nice. 4 hours the best, I think. Yeah, I like the 4 hour the most for long term. I'm having trouble not YOLOing everything in. It's emotional, yes, but I do think we're about to hit a massive bull run. It's definitely way outside my comfort zone, so lots of emotions. That is FOMO. That is FOMO. Now, I think we're about to hit a... There's nothing wrong. There's a lot of different trading advice out there. I don't think there's anything wrong with all-inning at a specific point, but you have to realize just what that means. If you go all in with your position, that means you are betting 100% that you are correct and that you bought in at the best possible spot. That means a couple things. It means if you're wrong, 1, you are going to be losing money and there's no other option because there is no more money to average down. And it means 2, if you're wrong, you're going to be losing money faster because you're losing that amount of decrease per share, and you have more shares because you all in. So that is the risk that you take, which is why I always say, to alleviate risk, if you're going to go all in, you should be very confident that you're in a bottom spot, and at least very, very close to a spot where you can comfortably cut, and it can be your stop loss, because that becomes the form of trading you have to do. You're in at a point, and you have no other option but to either hold it or sell. Obviously, you don't want to ride the wave down from Bitcoin 47,000 down to 33 and like blow up your account. So there has to be a point, since you have no option to just average down in DCA, there has to be a point where you decide to say, all right, I was wrong. I'm not going to make myself lose any more money, and I'm going to wait for when this drop stops. And that should be close to where you're buying if you're buying at the right spot. So for example, if you bought here, you could have a stop loss like here or even like here. And yeah, it's pretty close or a little far, but imagine if you bought in and YOLO'd here. The only way to prove you're wrong is if you make a new low down here. So now instead of losing this much money, you lost this much money. And now you're really going to be unhappy. So I say that the further you are away from a great level of support, the less money you should start off with. And if you're right, that investment will start to make you some cash. And you can, when you're in profit, start adding more money in, and now you've got that profit countering your risk. Because if you put in 25% here and you make $100 by the time it's here, let's just say on a pullback here you threw in the rest. Now you've got $100 of free money to lose before you're going to feel like I want to get out. So it gives you a buffer and gives you some room to fall, because now you're playing with some profit. But if you're at the bottom, I don't see a reason for that you shouldn't all in. But just keep in mind, if instead of going 75% in, you go 100% in, you cannot average down. Whereas if you went in 50% or 75%, you could then say, all right, well, on this pullback, if it starts coming down here, instead of completely panicking, I'm going to think, all right, well, I've still got some money left, and here it's looking like it might hold, so I'm going to add some more in here and lower my average a bit. And then if it really still looks bad, then you like sell here. Versus 100% in, it's falling, and you're just panicking, because you only have one option. It's to sell if you're wrong. So to each their own. But the further away, like I said, the further away you are from a level that you feel confident is 100% the bottom, that's what should determine your scaling, in my opinion. And yeah, the YOLOing in it just takes some discipline, like some additional work and like discipline. It's hard not to YOLO in. Hey, Josiah, thank you, man. Thanks for joining the group. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support, man. Means a lot. I'll go ahead and shoot you a link for the Discord group. And if you go on the community tab, it should be there right now. All right, here's the level we need to be looking out for right here. A break above this would be good. Why didn't it place? There we go. What is that? All right, I don't know what I just did, but a break above this right here would be good. Oh, I made a bunch of lines, didn't I? All right. Hey, Josh, welcome back. Welcome back to the Super Member Squad. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Thank you both. Really, really appreciate the support. Um, if my liquidation price on my Doge long is 15 cents, will I be safe before we hit 35? Will I be safe before we hit 35 cents again? I will start to buy more around 20 to get liquidation price lower and to double up on your long. Well, I definitely don't think we're going to see a Doge 15, so I think you're good. I wouldn't even really be concerned about that. Unless things go to absolute garbage, we shouldn't be seeing a Doge 15 or a Doge anything under 20. I don't think we're going to see a Doge 20 cents either, unless we go Bitcoin like 43, but definitely not a Doge 15. So you should be good, Mr. Helm, and that average down plan isn't too bad, I don't think. And yeah, that's all it is, Reza. It's just FOMO. That's all it is. That's exactly what FOMO is. It's the fear of missing out, so you want to all in just in case it goes up. You don't want to miss any profit. That's just another factor of what FOMO does. And it's normal, so it's not anything surprising. Averaging in is hard because you're leaving some profit on the table. But that's why I say if you're at a place where you really feel confident, you should feel pretty confident all inning and knowing where your exit point is and being okay with it. But if you're going to all in, you should also be thinking, well, if I'm wrong, I'm not going to sell until it hits this specific point, and I'm going to lose about this much, and I'm going to be okay with it. That should already be decided. If you're not at that level of confidence with your trade, then you should consider scaling in, and that way you can say, well, if I'm wrong, I'm just going to buy some more at the bottom. And if I'm really wrong, then I got to do something else. Bring me back in from the cold. Come back in, Josiah. Oh, man, I got to fix that rocket for you, man. It's a struggle. It is a struggle, bro. If Elon announces Doge for Tesla, do you think $3 is possible? Yeah. Thing is, Doge for Tesla, the reason it's going to be such a massive catalyst isn't because, Tesla is just the save all. There's a couple reasons. Yes, it is Tesla, and yes, it is Elon Musk, and that's two big factors. But what it's going to do for cryptocurrency recognition is going to be massive. Tesla is a market-leading, innovative company. People take note of what Tesla does and what's successful for them, and they like to copy it. Tesla vehicles. How many electric production vehicles did you really see roaming around? The popularity of them and all of that. Performance vehicles as well, especially before Tesla really got the ball rolling. I mean, that's kind of the thing that Elon Musk tries to do. He tries to start these innovative companies that aren't necessarily all about being profitable, but are about like changing the future and making it better or more advanced and changing the way that we do things and use things. That goes for the AI, that goes for Tesla Solar, that goes for Tesla vehicles, Tesla's performance vehicles, even the Tesla Roadster, which is going to be like the fastest car in the world. That goes for his other companies too. The Boring Company, which is supposed to what do you call it? Change the way that we look at like infrastructure for driving with these underground tunnels. And all these other companies he has too that we usually don't talk about. SpaceX, trying to make humans a multiplanetary species. Like whether or not all of these projects will be successful, that's what people look to Tesla for. The innovation and the new ideas and all of that. And then they sometimes end up copying because they're like, oh, that's actually a good idea and these guys are making it work. And that's what's going to happen when a company like Tesla or even a company like Amazon or maybe even a company like Walmart says we're going to accept Dogecoin. People are going to notice, okay, this is serious. We've got serious major companies making this work. They're figuring it out. They're implementing it and it's working for them. Why can't we figure out how to implement it and make it work for us? Because it's also a great marketing tool. It's bringing in more business as we've got all this whole Doge army wanting to spend their Dogecoin at places that will accept it. And so if we accept it, we're just going to get more customers by default. So it's a win-win. So as long as it's safe and stable, let's figure it out. And if these big companies are accepting it as payment, it must be safe and stable because they wouldn't risk it. So it really just makes everyone feel more comfortable and then interested in following the leader. So that's one of the biggest reasons that Dogecoin for Tesla is such a big announcement, because it's going to have such a big snowball effect. And that will make the price of Dogecoin go up even higher. So, but I don't know if the Doge for Tesla announcement is going to get us to $3 in itself. I don't think so, but I think the effects of it could propel us towards that. Am I watching Jerome Powell's speech tomorrow? I'll check it out. Weekly's very nice. Yeah, 4-hour I like as well. No problem, Doge Noodle. Boys are in. I'm in at about 47 flat on Bitcoin, but I'm in the ADA. So, new card, forgot to change method. Gotcha. Oh, wait. Hey, it gave you the rocket, man. It gave you your rocket back. Nice. Glad you're back, man. Welcome back to the team. Dip. No, don't dip. I'm in. Don't dip. Invu, you can't curse it, man. We went long. Either buy in or don't chant for the dip, man. Invu doesn't care. Invu's trying to get his bread. He's trying to get his dip. Rocket Man, yes. Josiah's rocket's next. I can feel it. Just needs 1 month. There's so many green people now. It's crazy. Glad you guys are finding the channel valuable, that like you're wanting to learn more and do more. That's great. How do you fight FOMO? Great question, man. Stop yourself from putting in more money than you're comfortable with, or the fear you're missing out. If you don't, I need to get better at that. Don't look at the charts till you calm down. Yeah, that's one way. So one very fast way to help you with FOMO is going to be up your time frame. So what I want you to do, Reza, if I'm giving you advice on like how to trade properly and you're telling me that FOMO you think is your biggest problem right now, stop using the 1 minute time frame. And I'm going to assume that you are. So use a much higher time frame. Don't use anything lower than 3 minutes. And honestly, don't even use 3 minutes for now. Look at something like the 30-minute chart and the 4-hour. Cycle back and forth between those two. That's going to help train you to start looking at the right things, because it is not about catching at all. It is, unless you're scalping, and nobody in this group right here is actual scalper, according to my knowledge, not even me, where you trade with a whole lot of money and your goal is to go in with like $50,000 or $100,000 and catch the move from here to here, literally here to here, and cash out. And that be your pay for the day. Most people are trying to buy here with a reasonable average amount of money and ride the wave up and hopefully get a nice piece of money. So you do not need to be looking at the 1 minute chart candle by candle and then looking at, some really big 1 minute time frame candles and just feeling like, oh man, I'm missing out. I'm going to jump in. It's probably going to keep going and I'll ride the wave, because that's not how it works. Usually when the candles start getting bigger, that signifies that it's about to stop. It signifies that it's about to stop and reverse. That's what I try and tell people. Technical analysis, you would think logically that when you're looking at an uptrend and you start seeing the candles getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that means the momentum is starting and it's accumulating and it's growing and you're snowballing. But that is not the case. When you see candles start getting bigger and bigger, that means people are already FOMO buying in, which means we are almost at the top, because it gets to a point where all the people that were in at the right point are like, okay, we're getting overextended here. I'm up a lot, and so I'm going to go ahead and play it smart and sell before this thing reverses. So you end up buying what you think is momentum when really it's the place where all the smart people are cashing out. And so you bought the shares that they were selling to you. While they cashed out, you bought their trash, right? Take a look at this, for example. Right here, some might think these candles are getting bigger and bigger and bolder. Oh, look at this one right here. This is going to take off like a rocket. Look at that momentum. What happened next? That was the top. That was the sell-off. Now, this is a very small scale thing here. This was only from 48.8 to 49.2. That was only a $400 move. I'm not talking about those small moves either. I'm talking about like the bigger ones. Look at this right here. Candles growing and growing and FOMO, and it stops. Why do I keep ending up buying at the top? People ask. It's because they buy on the big green candles. If you're already, and this is what someone on Twitter was talking about as well, and I thought it was funny, and I made a comment. This girl I follow on Twitter basically said, if you see a cryptocurrency trending on Twitter, it's too late. And that's the thought process. If you get to a point where you're looking at something and taking note of it, and you're like, wow, it's too late. It is more than likely too late. And if you decide to make an entry, you are probably entering at the top. And whenever you start seeing, I know when I traded stocks, I would use these scanners, and these momentum scanners would like let you know which stocks are having the most momentum. And by the time it got picked up on your momentum scanner or new high of the day scanner, it was probably at the top. The run was probably already almost over by the time it flew on everyone's radar. By the time that Dogecoin runs up so far that everyone's talking about it on Twitter and now it's trending, it's probably as far as it's going to go. It already made its move that was so massive that it got everyone's attention, which means it's probably at the end of it. And and look, even here, these candles here, it's bigger and bigger and bigger. You get the FOMO candles kicking in. All these FOMO buyers are in, and then it happens to be the top portion. You know what I mean? And this time it didn't dump, but the biggest candles come at the end of the move, not the other way around. And so that's one thing. Looking at the 1 minute time frame, and when you keep seeing those big candles, each time you start seeing moves like this, you're going to be like, man, I'm missing out. Oh, I just need to jump in. When you could very well be jumping in at the top of something. So by upping your time frame, these are the two I'm going to recommend. Okay, let me go back to Webull. The 4 hour time frame to start identifying trend and where you actually would like to place a trade, the general area that you like to place a trade. So I'm going to delete everything. Let me just hide it. That would be faster. I'm going to hide the indicators. Looking at the price action here, I'm going to identify some key levels off the 4 hour chart that I feel like would be a potentially good dip buy. First way is going to be looking at like some patterns and try to identify where there were a lot of touches horizontally. I can see right here, the bottom right here, this forms like if I were to draw a straight line, it touches there once, it touches there twice. This area looks like support. That's about 38,000. That'd be cool. Then look at the top of that move, the resistance area right here around 43 here. And then also there's bottoms here. Maybe that could be a potential dip buy. So I've got 38-ish, 43-ish, and then here again, 44-ish, which also matches that 200 EMA that we realized earlier. And then probably again here at right around 46.5, anywhere from like 46.5-ish to 47-ish, which is where we are now. Those would be my ideal dip buy spots. Now I have that established, and I know if we hit one of those price targets, I'm going to look at it, and if the price looks like it's holding, that will be my buy spot. If it's anywhere else, that's not a good place. Now, looking at it from this perspective, I'm not going to have, I might have FOMO if I start to see this happening and I didn't place my buy yet. But if you're looking at it in advance, you should already know like where you would like to have your buys placed, and just know you need to find a pullback to one of those places and look for your buy there, instead of sitting on the 1 minute time frame and just being like, these candles look so nice. In this little candle right here, going down to the 1 minute time frame, wreaks all of this havoc here. All of this is what was summarized in that candle. So, like this portion right here, a whole lot of emotions gone by zooming out. Because now, what does that candle tell you? There's no FOMO now when you're looking at that, right? It's just a little red blob. in the big picture of things. So my recommendation first would be to go to the 4-hour time frame. Second recommendation, if you need to go lower, go to something like the 30-minute time frame for an actual entry. If you're swing trading off this time frame is perfectly fine. If you're day trading, obviously you want to see a little more info so you can time it a little better if you're going to catch a smaller move. But 30-minute time frame, perfectly fine. You can still zoom out, see enough information, identify your levels right here, right here, right here. Looks to be like another one. The top's right here, the bottom's right here in this area, right there at 46.5. And you can see that's also why people bought it up heavily. And then a more stable, more agreed upon area is going to be the 47,000 level, which also was a support and resistance. So it was a little weaker. It's also a key mental level because people like whole numbers, like big numbers that mean a lot. So 47 is more important to people mentally than 46,500. So this general area, potential buy zone. That's step one to getting rid of FOMO. And that's probably just the easiest way to start. And then you can say, well, if I'm going to buy anywhere away from those key dip zones, I am not going to all in when I do it. I will only all in if I'm buying at one of the key levels that I identified. If I'm not at a key level I identified and I'm buying on the way up and it's going out into the moon and I'm just looking for a pullback to buy into, I'm going to scale in because I could be wrong and I would want to get the rest in as close to my area of value as I can. That's the concept. We still need this to go up above here. Getting a bit of a flag here. I think it's forming a bull flag, which would be nice. I would like this to go long. I don't feel like losing money today, I'll be honest. Question is, did Charlie Murphy pass away? I'm not sure. Question is, when will Tesla accept Doge? Elon's definitely in touch with the devs. He did a poll. Yeah. So Elon Musk is actually somewhat on the board now, like the Dogecoin Foundation. Like he is on that board by extension of his financial advisor. So to summarize that, Elon Musk's financial advisor is now like a part of the Dogecoin improvement team. If that tells you anything about Elon Musk caring about Dogecoin. So it is more likely than ever going to happen because he's got his own financial advisor on that board for him. That's very important. Very important. Now, when will it happen? By the end of the year would be nice, but that's just a target time frame that we've given. We don't have any clues. So my guess has always been Tesla will accept Dogecoin when Dogecoin stabilizes where it needs to be, like the price gets relatively stable, and when Dogecoin has the updates that it needs. So this transaction fee update's the most important one, and we're almost there with that. Then we've got transaction speeds, which could be updated down the line, and then we've got stability. Those are the two things we still need to work on a bit. So there could still be a little bit of time left. Transaction fees was the most important one though, and we're almost there. So it could be any time between like soon and early next year. But that's why, I mean, like I said, a lot of things have been going on. Development hasn't been moving as fast as I would have liked. And since, in my opinion, the target time frame to hit those price targets has been slowed down a bit, I feel a little more comfortable. And because a lot of the Dogecoin hype volatility has calmed down, I feel a little more comfortable diversifying now, not thinking I'm going to completely miss out on profit if I'm not in Dogecoin all the time. And though Doge is my primary holding where I default to, if I see ADA looking like a good move or Ethereum or something else, I do diversify into it temporarily, and then I come back when the move's over. Busted using the 1 minute. Yeah, the 1 minute is the 1 minute is the key, the fast ticket to FOMO. If you don't want to FOMO, do not use the 1 minute time frame. And honestly, try not to even use the 3. I would not use anything under like the 30 minute if you don't want to FOMO. Just to keep a level head. Or maybe the 15. But probably the 30 is better. It looks like it will break the line to the top side. Yes, so far. Instead of yellow, it was green. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's usually how FOMO starts. It's the fear of missing out. You think if you just all in now and you're right, you can get quick money. But what ends up happening is you end up being wrong and you end up losing all of it. If you had just played it slow, you would have been in profit. So that FOMO is why most traders are not successful. So if you've heard the statistics that are saying like, oh, 90 or 99% of traders are not successful, they end up losing money and then they end up quitting or just failing in general. FOMO, and which is the main part of emotional trading. So let me just summarize it by saying emotional trading is the number one reason that traders don't succeed. And FOMO is one of the biggest parts of emotional trading. And that's knowing that beginner retail traders, the average everyday person, is affected by FOMO and emotions makes it really easy for market manipulators to cash out because they just fake you out and make you think something and make you react, and then they do the opposite, and it helps provide liquidity for what they want to do with a lot of money. So for example, let's say we're getting near a resistance level, a key resistance level. Let's say we're going all the way up to like $50,000 here. Now, big money knows it's highly unlikely, given all circumstances, that if we go above 50,000, we're also going to hold above 50,000, that we even hit 50,000. So their plan is at around 50,000, they want to go short. To go short, you need someone to buy your shares from you because you're selling them to someone else. Right? You're selling shares you don't have yet. You're borrowing shares and then selling them to someone else so that you can buy them back later at a cheaper price and then net the profit of the price difference between where you sold them high and where you rebought them on sale. So if I'm a market manipulator and I know there's going to be FOMO buyers and everything here, and we're getting up to like $50,000 or something I can do, being that I have a lot of money and a lot of shares and a lot of people I probably know that can help manipulate the market, is start bumping the price up aggressively as we head towards resistance, making people think, oh, with this much momentum towards resistance, surely this thing's going to hit resistance and take off like an absolute rocket. Surely that's going to happen. So now you've got all the FOMO buyers seeing, 50,000, look at how good we look at 50, look at it. I'm going to buy in now. We're probably going to keep going. They start buying the top, and it gives the whales an opportunity to now sell the top. So they get to, because now they have people to sell to. So they get their short position fully off up here, and you start to see these kind of things where whales are like, alrighty, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and sell short, cash out and sell short now. Doom. And now the whales sold the top, are in short at the top. The retail traders were buying this up out of FOMO, thinking it was just going to keep going forever and ever and ever. The whales took their profit at the top. Now they're short, and now they're going to profit on the way down as people are now like, oh man, I was wrong. People start selling off at a loss. Smart people also start shorting. Price goes down, so on and so forth. You let the price get manipulated to a certain point, make people think really good about it, and fake people out. Retail traders buy at the wrong time. At that wrong time is when you do the right thing, which is sell and maybe go short and capitalize on the down move that's going to happen, because people then, after a move like this, are going to panic and be like, oh crap, we must be going down. So then they're going to sell. So then the short seller that did this in the first place is forcing the market down in the direction that he wants. Because he introduced panic, people panic sell, starts going up, introduce panic again, people panic sell more, and this is how that person is making their money, by selling it here and then rebuying it here. So market manipulation is very, very common. I'm not saying every fall here was because of manipulation. A lot of times it's just because you fail a technical level and everybody understands, get out. But FOMO is something that manipulators can take advantage of. Nice. Been ladder buying since the low trend. Cool. What's going on, Rodrigo? Glad to have you, man. I understand you mentioned it before. However, can you explain again the 200 EMA, what the 200, the 250, what the significance is, what it alludes to? Thank you. Yes. If Doge price stabilizes in the future, will it make it less profitable to trade? Oh yeah. Yes, it will. it's something's only as profitable as the volatility it provides you. So if Dogecoin stabilizes near $1 and doesn't fluctuate much between 98 and $1.02, it's not going to be very lucrative to trade unless it does that very frequently. So it'll probably be best to go to another stock. Hang on. Work. Okay. Oh, I forgot the whole reason I picked up my phone. 1 second. Let me play the music here while I'm sending this message. Sorry, I'm telling my wife what I want for dinner from fast food. Do I even want that? Sorry. So, a couple more questions. I just downed a Big Mac and some Nugs. Nice. Mini Mariano soon will join the Doge movement. Don't say that. She's watching the stream. Ah. She's watching. She heard. You get that Saweetie meal. Oh, does she have a meal at McDonald's, really? Josh says, can I oh wait, yeah. Okay, so I answered Doge Noodle. Can I explain the difference? So yeah, basically the EMA, guys, the exponential moving average is what it sounds like. It is a moving price. It's a moving average price indicator. It's an average price indicator that moves along with the recent price action. So depending on what's happened recently will be reflected in what the average price is that's being displayed. If you're getting a lot of lows recently, the agreed upon average price is going to be lower. If you're seeing a lot of highs recently, the agreed upon average price is going to start to increase, because what it's doing is, she has Saweetie sauce, bro. The indicator is factoring in the activity from a certain period of time, like 50 candles, 100 candles, 200 candles, whatever. It's factoring in is it even candles? It's factoring in the activity for a certain amount of time, and it's showing you what that average price is. And so people look at that as an indicator of fair value, based off of the amount of time that it's averaging in. The longer the time frame, the more conservative that average price is going to be because it's considering more information. So for example, if I use, instead of a 200 EMA, if I use the shorter term one, like the 10, this is being not very conservative. It's like sticking to the price like glue because it's only averaging out the average between the last like 10 candles here on the 10 EMA. And so it's only averaging out like this price action right here. And that's why it's so high, which means it's not telling you very much. But obviously, if you're on the upside of that short-term EMA, it's more bullish. Underside, it's more bearish, but it's not telling you like where you should buy in long-term. It's a very short-term indicator. So if you want to see big picture information, you're going to want to see more time being considered in the information that's being displayed to you. That's why the 200 time frame is really the longest time that people go. I never see anyone try for like a 300 or something like that. Even though the max is 500, I've never ever seen anyone use a EMA over 200. All right, and then it completely flips the EMA on a complete different side and tells you completely different information. So, so it's a combination of using the indicator that most people use with using the one that's going to give you the best, most conservative information so that you don't make like foolish decisions, so you don't get faked out easily. And so you're making sure if you have a bottom in mind, it's going to be like the bottom, or a top in mind, it's going to be the top, and that it's going to hold a lot of weight. And so that's why I use the 200. Now, in my day-to-day trading, I typically only use it, but there are times where I flip it on when I know we're trading away from the 200 EMA and I want to see levels closer to where we are. Then I'll use the other two most common ones, which are the slightly shorter time frame ones, but are still pretty long, the 100 and the 50. And so, for example, looking here, been on crypto for 4 months now. How can we learn to use charts? The charts are indicators. I try to explain some stuff on here, but there are some other good channels on YouTube that break it down. If you can find, so look at like Zip Trader, the Humboldt Trader, Trading Pro, Trading with Rainer is another good one. There's a lot of good channels out there. Just kind of, it's really easy if you YouTube search technical indicators versus YouTubing just like crypto in general. If you go into channels where you're searching like how to trade Dogecoin or is Dogecoin going to $5? If you look at those kind of terms, you're going to just find a bunch of generic channels that are trying to hype and get views and stuff. If you want to actually learn how to trade, just literally YouTube search your terms and you will find legitimate videos. Not every single one of them, but for the most part, when people are uploading how-tos, they're pretty legit. And so really what you need to do is kind of search technical analysis. That's the general term for how to read charts. So learn, like YouTube search videos on how to do technical analysis. Support, resistance, trend lines, indicators. Those are the main components. What's up, Steven? Oh yeah, I just talked to you, Steven. You didn't just pop in. But what's up, Daniel? You FOMO'd on ACH with 2K, lost 1K, but luckily made that back with 8 at least last week's. Nice. Glad you recovered, man. Hey, what's going on, Alex? Welcome back. So, for example, here's a situation where the 200 EMA wasn't enough for me. So this downtrend here, see how we flipped to the downside? As we started to pull down, we got so far away from the 200 EMA that it wasn't providing me with any information other than telling me we were in a very steep downtrend because of how fast we were going away from it. Going away from the average price indicator, couldn't even keep up with our downtrend. So obviously this was really strong. And what the price would need to be for us to flip back to maybe a bullish scenario. All right, but it didn't tell me anything else in between. So if we're talking about where the small dips could be or where they could potentially stop at, it wasn't giving me that indication. Hey, thank you, Rodrigo. Appreciate that. It wasn't giving me that indication. But when I flip on the 100 and the 50, I can now see these smaller time frame potential levels where people might look at it and say, maybe this is where I sell and take profit. And if most people are looking at the same thing, it's probably going to happen because the price goes up when most people are buying, down when most people are selling. So you want to see what are the areas where most people are going to do something. That's all indicators are supposed to show you. They do not tell you when to buy or when to sell. They tell you what will other people be looking at as potential buy and sell areas, and then you decide how to react accordingly. According to how the price action treats that particular level that was indicated. So here I could see the 50 EMA was right here. Sure enough, the bounce stopped itself right at about the 200 EMA, continued down. And it kind of rode it down, here it got stuck under it. And then it broke out to the top side of that, respected the 100, tried to hold the 100 as support, fell back under, hit it as resistance, hit this 50 as resistance and dumped. And so now you can see like, when we weren't near the main indicator, we were respecting the 50 and 100 and trading off of that. And so that's without support and resistance lines even drawn out, guys. I have nothing drawn in this area. This is just looking at this main indicator here and seeing how the price reacts to the indicator that most people are looking at. You can use the fib, you can use the Bollinger Bands, the alligator thing, the whatever in the world, the RSI, the MACD, and all this kind of stuff. You can use those, but most people use that in addition to a 200 EMA line. You will always find volume and a 200 EMA and then their indicator of choice, because volume and the 200 EMA are the most important ones that everyone respects. But yeah, these lines they average out recent average price information, and people take them as support and resistance lines because that's about what the fair value should be based off previous activity. So yeah, it's a little complicated the way, why they look at it that way, but that's what it is. Nice bullish move here from Bitcoin as we're about to get to the level I was hoping we'd get to and possibly break above it. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on ADA. Nice move here. Finally recovering. Had a strong, unfortunate sell-off to 47, but now it's back up to about 60, so this is good. Dogecoin, 27.5. Dogecoin's doing all right. Saw move down to 26.5 today, so glad that it's up about a cent. Let's check Ethereum. Ethereum's doing all right, 31.40. This looks pretty strong, so let's see how this rolls. This kind of reminds me of the overall dip right here where we took off. And in case anyone was not here, I bought in right about here. I told everybody when I was buying. It was right about here. 47-ish. Or maybe it was here. But there was a double bottom that formed right here, even though it wasn't super clean. Some might have saw it as a head and shoulders, but typically that's not how a head and shoulders is going to look. So this was really more of a double bottom. And then the breakout. I want to try double quarter pounder with Big Mac sauce. What I've always gotten is the McDouble with Mac sauce added. That is the easiest hack if you don't want to pay for a Big Mac, but you would like the flavor of a Big Mac without the extra bread. McDouble add Mac sauce. Still under $2, and you don't have to pay $5 for a Big Mac. Any other questions? I mean, I kind of now want to leave the stream going for a couple minutes because we're seeing a nice move. So that's nice. Just want to see how it's going to react. ADA technically is still down 1.5% today. Bitcoin is still down about 1% today, where Dogecoin fell the hardest and is down about 3% today. Doge has been the most volatile pretty consistently. Not surprised. Yeah, you should definitely give it a try. It's a nice hack. I've been doing it for years. My boss is the one that put me onto that, my old boss. It's a good money saver. and it's actually good. It's probably the only thing. It's really the only sandwich I order when I go to McDonald's. When I go. Oh yeah, options expiry, guys. Forgot. I was just reading my YouTube comments and I saw Rez's comment that he asked earlier. So, options expiry and my short term future thoughts, predictions, whatever. So, typically in the crypto space, and I was doing some more research on this too, because cryptos and stocks, things operate a little differently, and manipulation, there's always stuff to learn. Typically with cryptocurrency, whales, big money, they're the ones that are doing a large majority of the options trading. They're using options as leverage. They're using counter options or counter positions to hedge. They've got a lot of stuff going on. They know what they're doing. They're smart. When they place an option, and most of them do so, whether that's a call or a put, there's going to be a higher chance that you're going to see the price tend to gravitate towards whatever price is necessary so that that option doesn't expire worthless. Because don't forget, with options, it's not like buying stocks. When you buy options, you are buying the right to own stocks, the right to buy stocks at that certain price. And if that break-even price is not hit, that strike price is not hit, you lose your investment. So it then becomes a gamble. It's like either you win or you don't. And so no one wants to buy all those options contracts and then have them expire worthless. So what a lot of people have done, and I'm going to show you the article. All right, clean bounce off of the level that I was saying we need to break. This is why I made it a bit conservative. If I had drawn the line here, right at the tips, there's a lot of people here that just got faked out. That probably bought right here, thinking, "Ooh, we made a new high." The breakout traders, followed by the people dumping on the next candle unexpectedly. They probably bought here, sold here, and are now seeing it hold and are like, "What the heck? I just got faked out." That's what happens when you're trying to do too much. But that's why my line was here in the first place. I always put my lines conservatively. And I'm glad to hear that, Alex. I just read your comment in the Discord group, man. Glad to help. Awesome. So there's an article here that explains it as well. So like I said, most of the Bitcoin options here are $50,000 options. So they are going to expire worthless unless the price is at or above $50,000. If you look at the percentage of options contracts and whatnot, let's take a look. The options that just need to be above, let me see. So anyway, so for the option to be like above 45,000, there was like 4,040 calls and 2,500 puts. That was how many contracts were bought for a price target below $45,000. I'm sorry, yeah, below $45,000. For a price target above $46,000, there were 6,500 call contracts and only 1,300 puts. Keep in mind, a lot of this is whales going big. So you've got 6,500 thinking it's going to go up, whereas 1,300 are betting it's going to go down. At a price that needs to hit above 48,000, you've got 7,400 calls versus only 420 puts. All right, and then above 50,000, you've got 12,000 call options and 35 puts. What does that tell you? It tells you that you've got a whole lot of whales. In fact, if you do quick math, 2,500, this is 3,800. This gets you to about 4,250-ish. So about 4,250 versus 10 and another 20-ish. So 4,000 versus 30,000 whales. Let's just say they're all whales. You got 30,000 whales going long and you've got 4,000 going short. If whales don't want their options to expire worthless. What do you think they're going to do? Well, they're going to push the price up in whatever directions necessary, so that by the end of that day, their options contracts don't expire worthless. So these options, by the way, expire on Friday, which is tomorrow. If the manipulation pattern plays out in the way you would expect, another reason I'm overall bullish is because it would make sense that by the end of tomorrow, the whales would have pushed the price up to somewhere in this area. I don't know there's the most whales with above 50,000. So maybe they'll be able to pull that off and get to 50K. But at least above 48,000 is where I'm assuming that we will be closing the day tomorrow, which means it's very unlikely that we see a major sell-off today into tomorrow, because if that were to happen, then all of the whales' calls would be expiring worthless. And that means they'd all be getting screwed out of a lot of money, and that just doesn't make very much sense if they can also control the market. So, yes, so exactly, Cam. It makes the most sense to assume that this is the bottom and that this level is not going to fail, and that, if anything, this is a great test of support, and that they'll buy it up from here and gradually get us towards that $48,000 to $50,000 mark tomorrow, which is another reason why I wanted to go long here, and another reason why I'm a little more bullish than anything short term. GRT, not super familiar with GRT, but I'll check it out. BitBoy says it's probable to go up. Yeah, I agree with that. To the moon, man, to the moon. So just looking at that statistic alone, if I wasn't even doing technical analysis, it is extremely probable that we're going up, unless the whales want to lose all their call options and don't care, and they've already hedged against it and are just going to maybe fake people out in some masterful way, and just short at the last moment. I don't know. But anyway, let's see. And a lot of these puts could have been protective puts, just in case things weren't going in the right direction. So some of these puts could have been placed by the people that placed call options, like just in case, to start hedging against if things go wrong. But either way, way more bullish. And typically, like I said, whales tend to push the price towards where they want the market to close on the day of expiry, so that their options contracts don't expire worthless. So it makes sense to expect 50,000 tomorrow, or near it if they can help it. All right, let's see how this is doing here. This is nice, a nice move up. We rejected off this level, a little pull back to the 100, to the 50. Now let's see if it holds at the 50 and bounces or what. Now, what I also told people was my guess, if that does play out, is we do make another run up to about 50,000, but we see a double top form, because don't forget, we just hit 50,000 earlier in the week. We hit 50,000, sold off to 47. I think we could hit 50,000 again, and then sell back off. And then maybe there's a downtrend down to like 45. I don't think it's going to, at any point, really go much lower than 45 or even 43, especially. So I guess there's just a couple scenarios that could happen here. Either that happens, we get the double top right here. We get one of those, and like a bounce off of somewhere down here, and then maybe a continuation after. Or maybe we don't even fail that hard, and we just come, kind of back up through here, head towards 50, get us back in the trend, and then do something else later, whether that's dumping out at the top or making a continuation. So But either way, 50,000 looks like it's going to be the case tomorrow. At least close if they can help it. If they can't help it, maybe they won't try. But that's the probability. Long stream today. Yes, long stream. Wow, 2 hours. You guys were asking some really good questions. So, yeah, that definitely took a while. But glad I was able to get the stream off today. Also, guys, I'm not going to be live, I don't think, on Saturday. The schedule for the weekend will be a little different. I know I usually get streams off all days of the week if I can, but I am going to be somewhere or have something to do on Saturday. Not sure if I'll get a stream off. I might still, but we'll see. But if there's something going on, I'll make a extra effort to be live. Why do you think we hit 50 and come back down? I think this whole pullback was precipitated by bad news from the Congress. Yeah. Though I do think when the House, there will be a pullback for sure. No, I agree. And it was just what I was explaining. So the reason I think we hit 50 is because of the options thing. The reason I think we come back down is because, well, and the thing is, maybe we don't come back down. That's one of two scenarios. I think either we hit 50 and we double top there and we head down and get a healthy pullback down to the 200 EMA line, because when you look, we have not touched the 200 EMA line since we broke above it, and that's not healthy. Usually on any healthy uptrends or downtrends, you're going to see a touch somewhere. So look on the official or the first bull run on Bitcoin that happened when it took off from 10,000 up to 60. Look at this touch here, 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 right? There were so many touches. This was a really healthy run. Big moves up, pullback. Big move up, pullback. Big move up, pullback. Now look at the run here. We have no pullback. We have not had one significant pullback yet to the 200 EMA, which means we ran up this steep trend line, this white trend line I drew with, and we've been riding the 100 EMA up there, but we haven't gotten the deep pullback to the 200 EMA that is usually expected with a healthy uptrend like the bull run. And so it's overdue, basically. So I think at some point we will need to, for the sake of people feeling comfortable, get a nice deep pullback to the main support line, which is going to be that 200 EMA indicator, get people feeling comfortable, the people that are still on the sidelines feeling comfortable buying in and contributing to that next wave of momentum, that buying pressure we need to let us continue up. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen in this one scenario right here where I mentioned, the double top and then a fall out the bottom and then we get down to the 200 EMA, or if we're going to mess around some more, make another high and then catch the 200 EMA later. But, it's overdue for 200 EMA touch. Now, when it comes to the, what you were saying about the Congress, the news from Congress, I agree. The pullback from here, I think, was because Congress. I think we didn't do so bad because people understood that it's unlikely that the rules get enforced, unlikely at this time, according to rumor. And so we can still see some bullish movement. But then I think we will end up pulling back towards whenever the time comes for the actual law to be passed. That'll probably just do one more bearish event, and then we'll have to see what happens next. Do I think the sell-off for long positions, do you sell off long positions if you YOLO in? Do you have a level you sell off even if you don't? Even if you go long, if it goes down? I think you should always have, unless you are averaging in, you should always have a price that you will not hold below. It's called a stop loss. You should always have a mental stop loss. Even if you don't have a program that will let you physically set the stop loss, in your mind, you should have developed a trading plan and said, I'm going to place a buy here and I'm going to take profit if it hits here, but I'm also going to cut my loss and accept the loss and not lose more money if it goes below here. And that should be planned out in advance. So even if I'm going long, yes, if I am like all in on a trade and I don't plan to average down if it falls, I always will have a price to where I'm like, well, if it goes below this, I'm just going to cut it and sell. Because if you can sell here, if you go below the last level of support right here, and the next key level is here, you now have an option. Are you going to cut your loss here and only lose this little amount right here? Or are you going to just stay in it and wait all the way till it gets down here and then hope that it stops? And instead of losing that much, now you lost this much. And then you still have to figure out if it's going to actually longer term stop here, or if it's going to go down to the next level of support, or then to the next level of support, or to the next. And by the time all this is happening, your account's going to $0. When you could have just lost $20 here, $100 here, now you're down $1,000 here. So there should always be a price target where you're like, all right, I'm done if it goes below this price because things aren't looking so good. But the closer you buy to the bottom, the easier it is to do that because the closer you are to your exit price, so you'll lose less money because you're buying lower. That's the key. All right, guys. I do have to run. I'm starting to lose feeling in my throat. I've been talking for 2 hours. We fell below the 50, not very important. Nice bounce off the 100. I think that's more important. You've also got the 200 right here just in case. But what I'd like to see is a break above the 47,000 level, holding on the top, and then moving towards 48. And obviously the better goal would be to see us reclaim the white line and trade above here. So right above 48,000 gets us above the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame, gets us above the 48,000 level of resistance, which will then become support, and above the diagonal resistance that will then become support, and then we'll be strongly trading here, and we'll look like we're in a good position to head towards 49 or 50 for tomorrow. So that's the way it's looking. Thank you guys all for hanging out today. It's been a long stream, an informative one as well, so hopefully you learned something today if that was your goal. I am going to go ahead and head out, and of course I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Again, if you want to join the Discord, the members only Discord group, the link, I'll copy it again for anybody that did not see it. It's pinned at the top of the chat, but it is also going to be here. All you have to do, click the link, join the super member, become a super member of the channel. And the biggest perk, in my opinion, of being a super member, other than getting the green name and the rocket next to your name and all that stuff, is going to be being able to get into the invite only Discord group, which is where after these streams, I continue talking to everybody. And, we're talking trades, what we're going to get into next, what crypto, at what price, when we're thinking of selling, when we're thinking of buying. So if you're thinking about taking trading more seriously and you don't want to buy people's expensive programs and you just would like to have a chat that knows kind of what they're talking about, feel free to jump in. Michael Lee said, and no problem, Doge. I was just wondering, you said you have Doge holding account, which average cost is 60. What happened? So I did, and then I got bored because on my scalping account, I wasn't scalping Doge. And so I did end up selling on that holding account. So the Doge holding account is no longer the holding account. It is my semi-holding account, So when I feel comfortable that this bearishness is over, I'm just going to buy back in on that account and let it ride. But I did decide, I cut on the way down at 26. No, what was it? 28. And then I bought back in at 21. And then I sold at the top at 26. And then it fell, and then what happened? Then it went to, now it's just been moving around. I haven't gotten back in yet. So I'm actually up a couple cents then compared to if I hadn't done that little scalp move. But I will buy back in as soon as I feel comfortable that I'm at a great long-term dip and it's not going to keep going down. So there's that. Hey, there's Reza. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Super Member Squad. If you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel and click the community tab, that is where you will find the link to join the Discord group, and you'll be in. And for anybody else, same thing applies. The link only shows if you're a super member, so don't go try and finesse the system. It's not going to work. But yeah, I appreciate the support. Preezy being there talking margaritas. Nice. I would love a margarita right now. No problem, chosen one. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I will catch you guys tomorrow in the next live stream. And thanks for hanging out. Have a great evening.